Hey everybody! In the birth chart, there are more different karma indicators, so typically we have more than one karmic duty or lesson in our current life, and these could be found and interpreted in your chart. We are not going to get into all of them, but we are going to check one of the most important karmic duty lesson you have, so you can find out which topic or area of life makes up the greatest difficulty, struggle, the hardest lesson for you to learn in this life. Saturn is the planet of time, responsibility, karma, and karmic lessons. So depending on its position, which house it is in, we can reveal what karmic lessons you have to face in this current life. All you have to do is look at your birth chart. If you don't have one, you can set it up for yourself online for free. There are plenty of pages for that. That is what a birth chart looks like. As you can see, we have all the planets here. We have the 12 houses which represent different areas of life. So we have to look for Saturn in your chart, and in this specific chart, we can see it in the 12th house. If you have found your Saturn in your chart, then let's see what it means in the perspective of the 12 houses as for your karmic lesson. If your Saturn is in the first house, then your karmic lesson is related to self-image, self-confidence, asserting yourself, self-growth, unfolding your personality, and these things might be pretty hard and difficult for you to do. That is why you may lack self-confidence, you think you are not good enough. This is your karmic lesson to overcome these thoughts and beliefs and dare be yourself, be proud of who you are, and manifest the potential residing within you. With Saturn in the second house, then you might face difficulties making money, establishing your financial stability, and that is exactly what your karmic lesson is, to develop a healthy and optimistic relationship with money, financial security, to solidify your financial situation with humility and diligence. If your Saturn is in the third house, then your karmic lesson is related to your way of thinking, learning, and communication. You need to set these things straight. You need to learn and realize that you are as smart as other people. You are worth as much as others. That you should have the courage to say what you think without being afraid or being wrong and failure. You need to learn to speak, communicate with confidence, to share your thoughts, opinions without fear, and trust your intellect and mental capabilities. Furthermore, you might have a karmic relationship with your brother or sister, and this relationship should be harmonized and worked on. With Saturn in the fourth house, well, that indicates some difficult family karma. There is a chance that you had a harder childhood. You might not have gotten the affection, attention, or love you would have needed growing up. Your upbringing might have been a little bit rigid or colder or lacked affection and tenderness. So it might be that it is the family you came from that's your karmic lesson, to heal those wounds you gained growing up, to overcome the pain, the struggle, the traumas and injuries your family or your childhood caused you. But it also could be that it is the family you will have is your karmic lesson and challenge. It is also the house of one of your parents, normally the mother. In some cases it could be the father though. Either way, you might have a difficult relationship with one of your parents, probably your mother. And it is a karmic relationship that needs to be taken care of, harmonized. The topic of home, real estate also belongs here, so you might face difficulties finding your own home, a place where you feel home and safe, where you enjoy living. Then your karmic lesson might be to create and find the home for yourself you have always dreamed of. If Saturn is in your fifth house, then it might be challenging for you to enjoy life, to have fun, carefreely. You might feel anxious, stressed, or worried when you are supposed to be having fun. It might be hard for you to let loose, let yourself go and enjoy the moment. If so, then this is what you need to learn in this life as a karmic lesson, how to have fun, how to enjoy yourself, feeling liberated and free. Arts and creativity also falls under this house, so it might be difficult for you to express yourself creatively. You are not satisfied with your art, with your performance, your creation. You often struggle in this area. You don't trust your creative talent. Then you need to learn to create more intuitively without overthinking, without trying to create something perfect. You need to learn how not to be a perfectionist when it comes to creativity. Go with your gut. Be light and easy without judgment and sweat. Just be brave and intuitive while creating. Love also belongs in this house, so maybe you should review your patterns, behaviors, reactions as for love, relationships, love affairs, and sexuality. You need to manage your expectations and overcome the challenges life brings you in this area. You need to learn to open up and love freely. You might feel that everybody finds love faster than you, before you, but trust me, it is worth waiting because as soon as you find it, it will be for the long run. A solid and long-lasting love relationship. Your firstborn child is also represented by the fifth house, so you might have a karmic relationship with your child. So it is important to remember that even though it might be hard, challenging, a struggle with your kids sometimes, but you do owe that soul karmically from previous lives. So be patient with them, open and understanding. If Saturn is in your sixth house, then the topic of work, jobs, obligations could make up your karmic lesson in this life. You might take things too seriously in these areas. You might be too much of a maximalist, a perfectionist, yet you still feel you don't do a good enough job, although everybody around you compliments and recognizes your performance at work, which you, for some reason, don't want to believe. You always suspect something in the background, but there is nothing in the background. They compliment you because you are a hard worker who does a great job. So trust yourself, your skills as for your job, and thrive for a healthy work-life balance. You need to learn to relax and disconnect from work and other obligations from time to time. This house also represents health, so you might struggle with karmic illnesses. Your vitality might be on a lower level. In this case, pay attention to your sicknesses as they want to message you something you need to learn in this life. If Saturn is in your seventh house, then we could think of relationships as a karmic lesson. You might feel that for you it takes a much longer time to find a partner than others. You might feel like everybody does better in this area than you, that you have to wait more and work harder to find somebody. Well, it is a karmic lesson for you, but better later than never, right? So be patient, as you might find your significant other only later in life, but that will be a long-lasting, solid relationship which is worth waiting for. But all your relationships, and not only the romantic ones, but all your human relationships are karmic, we could say. Most people you interact with, you have karmic ties to. Furthermore, you might feel you are worth less than the other person standing in front of you, whoever it might be. You feel you are not as good as others, not as worthy as others. You need to learn that you are as worthy as others. You shouldn't lack self-confidence. It is your karmic duty to overcome this false belief, and you should be brave, natural, and confident in your human relationships and human interactions. If you have an 8th house Saturn, then we could think of the topic of sexuality. You might be a late bloomer in this area and you might struggle with sexual inhibitions. It is hard for you to let yourself go, immerse and experience your sexuality in a liberated and natural way, without fears, negative thoughts. If so, then it is your karmic lesson to explore and liberate your sexual energies, to experience sexuality freely without being too shy, too scared, too worried, or overthinking. It could also be that you have a karmic lesson to learn about the topic of death and loss. You might have lost some people, loved ones in your life. You need to learn how to let go of the past, how to move on, and to see that life is more than just its physical aspects, that there is something beyond the material. It could also be that your karmic lesson is related to traumas you experienced in life, or some sort of secrets, hidden taboo desires that you should bring up to the surface and harmonize. If Saturn is in the ninth house, then it is your faith that might shake time to time. It is hard for you to believe in a bigger idea, a universal philosophy that there is a life after death even. You might lack faith in life and in the universe. Your life philosophy, your mentality, your worldview might be a bit pessimistic, and it is your karmic duty to gain faith, to learn to have faith and be more optimistic towards life in general. It could also be that traveling is a difficult topic for you. You face obstacles whenever you want to go on long trips, visiting far lands, or just moving abroad might be something that you would want but seems almost impossible to carry out. Don't worry about it. You need to be patient. The time will come. Furthermore, you might find learning languages difficult, but it could also be that your university or college years are sort of a struggle and you face delays and obstacles there. You need to learn to be more optimistic and patient first and foremost. Those results will come. Even if they come later than for others, it just takes longer for you. But your results will stand the test of time and will be longer lasting than your peers. If your Saturn is placed in the 10th house, then you might experience difficulties, obstacles, and delays in your career and professional growth. Probably you have to work twice as hard as others and for the same results to get ahead professionally, to get higher up on that ladder. You might feel like that the amount of time, energy, and work you invest in your career is not in sync with your results. It could also be that you are not so confident in this topic that you might find your true calling, your life purpose, and profession only after you turn 30. You should also think about the way how you relate to the question of power, status, because you might be focusing too much on these, your goals, your interests, to build your own power and reputation. Of course, we need ambitions in life, but for you it is a karmic lesson not to be obsessed with your goals and career, but also to pay attention to your human and emotional needs and not get carried away, drunken of power or something. Trust me, with humility, patience, and hard work, you will reach amazing heights as for your career. If you have Saturn in the 11th house, then you might feel that you are worth less than your friends in your community, than the people who surround you. It could also be that you find it hard to trust them, or you might be too introverted and suspicious amongst your friends, and it is hard for you to open up and find your place in communities, and you feel tensed in such situations. Or maybe it is the society you live in and your place or role in society that you are not feeling satisfied with, and it feels challenging. Your karmic lesson is to learn to think in communities, to fit in, to open up in the presence of your friends without trying to control anybody or without being driven by interests. But it could also be that your hopes and wishes for the future are a bit pessimistic, so you could use some extra optimism for your outlooks for the future. But it could also mean that you might find it challenging to navigate in the modern world, the internet, applications, computers, or something that then you need to learn how to use all these, as these days they are essential in our lives. And the last one, the 12th house. I mentioned it in earlier videos that this is an extremely complex and mysterious house, but we will try to highlight a few important aspects we can think of with Saturn in the 12th house. So with such a position, it might be the topic of loneliness, solitude, that is challenging for you. You need to learn to find the opportunities in your alone time, learn to enjoy it or spend it productively. You might often feel alone, maybe, but for you, this is something karmic. So, the time you spend alone is for self reflection and soul search. It is trying to tell you, teach you something. With Saturn in the 12th house, well, honestly, it is a difficult position, no doubt. So, I'm pretty sure that you probably have had your share of difficulties, struggle, problems, and suffering. But you need to know that this is karmic. It is happening to you not because you did something wrong or because you wouldn't deserve something better or you made a mistake, but because these obstacles, hardships, are trying to teach you, train you, make you stronger, and provide you experience which will come in handy later on, even if at the moment you can't really imagine how. But trust me, it's all happening in your best interest. You also need to learn how to strengthen your faith, how to open up your heart, have empathy, understanding, and you shouldn't be scared of your emotions or expressing them. These things will help you during hard times, and remember, soon as you learn the lessons you have to from the hardships you face, it'll be all over. Be more intuitive and turn inwards for answers. Okay, that's it. We have checked Saturn in all the houses. I hope this information can help you cope with the difficulties you face in life. I hope this can give you the spirit you need to overcome them. And I hope that you can take care of your karmic lessons so your soul can grow, evolve, and get to the next level of spiritual evolution. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video. Feel free to subscribe for more content or consider joining me on Patreon for exclusive astrology content. Or if you want a personal horoscope reading, reach out through the links below. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves.